when you compare the fee structure of the national curriculum or the state curriculum with the international curriculum, the fee structure is much, much higher of international curriculum.
Exactly.
So that is where the teacher-student ratio comes in.
The additional fee compared to the regular schools, one of the reasons is this?
If you don't have that kind of budget to put your child in the international school, it's okay. The child can study in any other school and do well as well.
What are the top 3 red flags that this is not my kind of a school?
Schools cropping up in every corner, and it is a very difficult task for the parents to decide which one is the right school for the children.
Few years back, the government issued a notice telling the cautionary deposit should not be taken, but they are still taking the deposits. Welcome to Yellow Slate Podcast. Today we have with us Shalini Singh Hamilton, Principal of Candiidus International School. She has an experience of more than 20 years in the educational sector. She's been in leadership roles for renowned schools like Santa Maria International, the Chirek International, and the Gaudium. Today, our episode is going to be about finding the right school for your child. With so many international schools around us which claim to be international, but we really do not know what goes behind the doors. Let's find out from the principal herself. Hello, Ms. Shalini.
Hello, Deepti. Nice to meet you.
It's lovely having you here.
My pleasure.
So you've had an experience of more than 20 years in the industry.
Right.
So I want to know what are the top important points that you would suggest for a parent when I am trying to identify a right school for my child?
First and the foremost thing that I would like to advise is to decide the curriculum.
Okay.
Because the schools nowadays, they are offering multiple curriculum in the school. So out of those curricula, which is the most suitable curriculum for your child as per the learning style of your child? Your child is planning to write any national competitive exam to put them in CBSE curriculum. IB is more of experiential learning. So yes, the children do learn how to explore, how to experience and experiment. Whereas in Cambridge, it is, I will say, it is a good blend of CBSE and IB. So there are prescribed books in Cambridge, like CBSE. In Cambridge, though the subject content is there, content is pretty much there in the topic, but it is also that teachers will make extra efforts to look for the resources, share it with the students, take the class by sharing those resources, showing them in the class, lot of questioning. And it's not that this does not happen in IB or CBSE, but all 3 curricula are different in their own aspect. So Cambridge is a well-structured program with books and resources. So first thing that parents should see in any school before taking admission is about the curriculum. Coming to the next point, yes, it's the holistic development that is the in thing now. So apart from the academics, it is important what all activities are being conducted, organized in the school. So is it just PE, physical education, or there is something beyond physical education? So there are different types of sports now being introduced in schools. So usually the schools will ask the students up till grade 2 or grade 3 or till grade 5 in some schools to opt for all the sports. And then once they're able to decide which one they are really interested in, which ones they have really been able to develop skills in, so that they can specialize in those sports after a particular class. So yes, holistic development is required for each and every child. So academic is important, activities are also important. As a parent, if I would go to any school to admit my child, I will look for 2 most important things other than academics and activities. Those 2 things are discipline and values. Because if the child is disciplined and has good values, then definitely they pave the way for the success of the child. So discipline is important. That not only become good future leaders, but also good human beings.
Okay. Let's talk about discipline first. When you're telling I need to check whether the school is maintaining the discipline. As a parent, when I go to a school to visit, you know, what is that I look at and have that confidence, okay, the school is going to follow the discipline?
Yeah, so first of all, with discipline, I don't mean that the students must be walking in a single file, right? That's a thing of the past. So when it comes to discipline, we can find out from the existing students, existing parents about the discipline being followed in schools, right from the time of the entry. So when the parent is visiting the school, prospective school, they can just observe whether the children look happy, whether they're just loitering around without any purpose, or they have some meaningful activity happening outdoors. So that is how you can make out whether the children of the school are disciplined. Do they look happy? Do they look motivated to come to school every day and participate in all the activities?
So, ma'am, about the fee structure when we're coming to, the Cambridge or the IB fee structure is higher than that of the CBSE or the ICSE. Is it only because of the curriculum that it is higher?
See, first of all, it is not just the curriculum. It is about the school infrastructure, the facilities, the kind of transportation, the kind of meals that are provided. So it's not just the curriculum. There are so many factors. Right? What all activities are being offered? What kind of events are happening? What kind of outbound trips are happening? What kind of excursion are many things add to it. So it's not just curriculum.
It's not just curriculum.
But yes, the CBSE fee is comparatively less, CBSE or for that matter even ICSE is comparatively less than the international curriculum.
So as a new parent, when I go to school and I ask for a free structure, they give me a division. They give me a cautionary deposit. They give me a tuition fee. Then there's stationery fee. Then there's food and there's transport.
And uniform.
So don't government have a regulation for these fee? I mean, isn't there a cap that it cannot be beyond a certain point?
To some extent it is, and the capping is mostly on the percentage of hike every year. So as usually schools make the fee hike based on that.
Few years back, the government issued a notice telling the cautionary deposit or the deposit for the schools should not be taken. But they are still taking the deposits.
It is happening, but that is refundable, right? Once you withdraw the child, the caution deposit is returned to the parent.
So now when the division happens, after I enroll my child in the school, there is a certain percentage of increase in the fee. Is it just the tuition fee that the school increases, or is it all put together, or is it just the food and the transport?
So first of all, for the security deposit is of course the caution deposit is same. So say it is 5K, it is 5K all across. Irrespective of the grade. Second thing comes the tuition fee or the academic fee. So that varies. There will be slabs moving from early years to primary, moving from primary to lower secondary, moving from lower secondary to upper secondary, like that. So there will be different slabs. Apart from that, there will be fee hike every year. So schools will follow different percentage and based on their what they are offering, because every new academic year schools try and include something extra,
something new,
some new activity or some new infrastructure, or like that. So based on that, there will be some hike. So it varies from 8% to 10% to 12% to 15%. Right? And then also if you are making one-time payment for the entire year, so the fee is divided into two terms. First term fee, either you pay the caution deposit and the first term fee, and then you pay the second term fee later. But there are options. If you are making one-time payment, then you get a discount.
There is a discount when I pay an entire
mostly schools will have that provision. Second thing is there will be a deadline. If you make payment before this deadline, then the early bird offer is there. The admission counselors will apprise the parents of all these things. If not, if they miss out on it, parents should feel free to ask all these things.
So apart from the fee structure, what are the hidden costs that are there? Do I have to ask all of this in the beginning before I enroll my child?
Yes, I think ideally parents should ask, but I don't think there are any hidden costs as such. So like how we discussed that there will be a caution deposit. Then there will be tuition fee, academic fee. Other than that, there will be this meals.
Yes.
The charges will be there. Then transportation charges will be there. Other than that, usually schools will take some amount, say 5K. Or 8K. Some amount they will take in the beginning of the year. Which will be utilized for field trips within the city. Not outbound trips. Outbound trips will be extra. Right. But within the city, if any excursion is happening, any field trips are happening, or if they're going to participate in any competition into any other school. Plus annual concert, because there will be costumes, there will be stages and all that. Plus sports, annual sports day. So whatever requirement is there, on such occasions, such events, that is covered with this lump sum amount which is taken from the parent.
From
5K, 8K, 10K. I don't know what different amount they charge, but that amount is used for such purposes. Only they need to pay extra if they are going for outbound trip. So if suppose they are going to the Golden Triangle, Delhi, Agra, Jaipur. So then the usually schools tie up with the third party. So they will come and do the orientation. This is the itinerary. This is what we are going to do. This going by flight, going by train. These are the different costs. So that is something different.
That is something.
But otherwise, usually there is no hidden cost as such. Whatever activities are happening in the school, be it sports, be it visual arts, be it performing arts, it's all included in that academic fee.
So ma'am, saying that, let's say my daughter is academically amazing, or my daughter is really good with a sport, let's say tennis. She's at a district level, not yet reached to the national level. But I am not financially that stable at this point of time. Can I approach the school to ask for a concession or a discount in the fee for me?
Yes, mostly such parents, they approach the management, and the management takes the call for this. And to encourage the child, usually they provide that kind of concession. And in one school, I was, very happy to note that they were funding some students' education, or rather giving them some good discount in their academic fee as well, to motivate them to study further. And they were giving their CSR funds for this. So that was something really a very, very good gesture.
So as parents, we can approach the school management for the discount.
Yes, there's no harm in asking for it. And usually the schools accommodate. Of course, the percentage of concession might vary, but schools do accommodate if it is a deserving candidate.
As an educator, according to you, what is an international standard that the school has to maintain?
All right. So first of all, I have come across schools where the name includes international. And when I've tried to gain some more information, then I have come to know that they don't even offer international curriculum. So even schools who are offering a CBSE curriculum, or for that matter, even state curriculum, they are calling themselves international schools. Ideally, the school which are offering international curriculum, be it Cambridge, be it IB, be it American curriculum, so they are the actual international schools. So that is one criteria where the international school gets its name based on the curriculum.
So in this, let's say a school is offering an IB or a Cambridge curriculum till 5th or 6th and 7th standard. And after that, they say we do not have a Cambridge or IB curriculum. You have to move to CBSE. Is that school also considered an international school?
So first of all, usually it doesn't happen like that. They will offer Cambridge or IB up till grade 5. And then they will be giving the various options of the curricula to the students. So CBSE or Cambridge or IB, or all three of them or two of them, along with CBSE, one of them with CBSE. So CBSE is there, Cambridge or IB is there. So they still continue with the international curriculum. And even if, suppose, going by what you are asking, so till grade 5, they offer Cambridge or IB, and from grade 6, they offer only CBSE. But still, because they are offering an international curriculum till grade 5, so they still have the right to call themselves international school.
They still have the right to call themselves international school. Let's say Indian government have any rule of the parent-teacher ratio. Is there any particular standard that a school has to maintain, and does it differ from Cambridge to CBSE or IB to CBSE? Does this ratio differs?
So there is no such ratio prescribed by the government as such. There is a number, but it is not mandatory for the international schools to follow that. And yes, in the CBSE or the state board or the ICSE, the numbers are slightly more in each class. So the teacher-student ratio is less as compared to the international curriculum. So the reason behind that is when you compare the fee structure of the national curriculum or the state curriculum with the international curriculum, the fee structure is much, much higher of international curriculum.
So
that is where the teacher-student ratio comes in. If the parent is paying much higher fee for the international curriculum, the student-teacher ratio is maybe 10:1.
Right.
which definitely assures that the attention is given more to your child. So that is
Okay.
how it is balanced. If the fee structure is more, the
Okay.
teacher-student ratio is very high.
Okay.
High means it is very
I
good,
get that.
and so the child ends up getting more attention
Okay.
of the teachers. There is more individual attention. Also, if the number of students is less in each class, the possibility of participation or presentation is much higher for each child.
Definitely.
Right? So it's not
Right.
just about teachers' attention, it's also getting opportunity
Opportunity.
for different things within the classroom or outside the classroom.
Okay. So I am paying the extra fee, because all the international schools start off from, I think, 3 to 4 lakhs is like for a kindergarten. So I am paying the additional fee compared to the regular schools. One of the reasons is this.
Yeah, because see, first of all, the international curriculum teachers go for continuous professional development.
Okay.
And each of these workshops and trainings, they cost a lot.
So
Right?
these workshops and trainings that teachers go, do the school pay for them?
Sometimes it's the school, sometimes they can get themselves registered individually. So it's not mandatory for the school.
Okay.
Those schools do it voluntarily.
Okay.
And even the teachers, because they look for continuous professional development. So
Right.
sometimes the school sends them, sometimes they register themselves.
Can you tell me what are the top 3 red flags that this is not my kind of a school?
All right. So first thing is the fee structure, because
Okay.
financially the parent should be able to cope up with the fee structure.
Okay.
So if it is within your budget, well, go for it.
Okay.
If not, then it's okay, because in other schools also, any student who is really strong academically or otherwise in other activities, the child will shine anywhere.
Okay.
Right? So the curriculum matters only up to some extent. So it's not that going with the herd mentality that my child has to be in the international school only.
Okay.
It's not required, not
Okay.
necessary. So
Okay.
even if you don't have that kind of budget
Okay.
to put your child in the international school, it's okay. The child can study in any other school and
Okay.
do well as well.
Okay.
Though personally, I feel that investing in education is the best investment that you
Okay.
can make.
Okay. So one is the fee structure. The second red flag that you would say?
So the second red flag can be the high teacher or the leadership attrition rate, because if there is no stability in the academic staff or the coaches or the leadership roles in the school,
Okay.
then the instability will definitely affect the academic standard of any school.
So you mean to say the changing of the
Yeah.
leadership
Yes, leadership
roles
and the teachers.
and the teachers?
Because
how
if-
often the teachers have
Right,
changed?
right.
Okay.
So if the schools provide the teachers with a lot of PDs, the trainings, and then retain them, because
Okay.
it's not just the package
Okay.
or the PDs, it's also about the work culture.
Okay.
It's also about taking care of the well-being of the teachers.
Okay.
So it's a total package, right,
Okay.
for any individual. So we all look for good work culture.
Yes.
If there are good employee engagement programs happening.
Right.
So all that keeps you motivated.
Right.
So there are many factors because of which the teachers will stick to one organization.
So now let's say I am moving to Hyderabad. How do I identify what are the good schools for my child?
So first of all, like, as I started in the beginning, first you have to decide which curriculum.
Okay.
If you're not
curriculum, once the curriculum is decided.
Yes. Then, of course, you have to see the distance from your house,
Okay.
whether the school transportation is provided or not.
Okay.
Right?
So does the distance actually make a difference?
Not really, but yes, people who are coming from 50 kilometers or 40 kilometers and how the traffic is nowadays,
Right.
for some of them, it's taking more than 1.5 hours. So especially for the little ones, pre-primary and primary,
Okay.
it doesn't make that much sense.
Okay.
Unless and until you're really getting the value for your money and time. And the next comes the activities. What kind of activities are being offered?
Okay.
Because if you're looking for holistic development of your child, definitely first the curriculum, the academics.
Okay.
It's not just the curriculum, but also the standard of academics of that school.
Okay.
So the best way to find out is the result of their board batches.
Okay. So I'll have to look at the alumni.
Yes.
Okay.
Board results and alumni, both alumni placements
Okay.
plus the board results. So
Okay.
you'll know if the academics are of really good standards.
Okay.
All right. So curriculum is one thing that you have to select. Second thing is check for the board results and the alumni placements of the school.
Okay.
Next comes the activities, because nowadays, parents, gone are the days when the parents were only focused on engineers and doctors and those things. Now parents are open to all different options.
Yes.
Whether making a career in sports or visual art or performing art.
True.
So now holistic development is required, is mandatory, and for that we need to have good activities related to sports, related to visual arts, related to performing arts. So these facilities have to be checked. What kind of infrastructure do they offer? What kind of activities do they offer? Do they have the trained coaches, trained specialized teachers for that?
Yes.
So all that matters.
Do you advise the parent to enroll in a franchise school? My
personal opinion is it doesn't matter if it's another city or another school, if the curriculum is same.
If the curriculum is same.
So, but having said that, even if it's a different curriculum, if the transition is smooth, if the other school, the teachers are supportive, and the student is able to cope up, there shouldn't be a big, problem at all.
Okay. So let's say I'm here till my daughter is in 5th or 6th standard. After that, I want to move. I still want to go to a 7th standard in the next school because I've moved the city. There is an entrance exam for the child, even if they see the results of this.
Yes. Suppose you are going to admit your child to grade 6, and if the child is not performing well in the entrance exam, if she's not going to cope up with the grade 6 curriculum, so are we really going to help the child with that? So it is a one way of evaluating the child. Even if the child is coming from grade 5 seeking admission in grade 6, so where does she actually stands? So is she doing really well, or is she an average student, or is she is not doing well at all? Are we equipped to support the child? So that is from the school's perspective that we need to check.
So my child already has passed out her exam of grade 4 in a school. Even after that, taking the results, even then the child needs to give another entrance exam.
So usually schools do not take the entrance up to grade 5, primary. There's no entrance.
Yes,
but mostly schools will take entrance exams from grade 6 and above.
Yeah, but the results are already there of the 6th. The old school results are already there.
But each school will have its own standard.
Okay. So the school cannot evaluate with the other schools.
They do ask for the progress reports. That is also one of the criteria.
Right.
But yes, the entrance is mandatory, and that is how the selection process happens.
Okay. Yes. So is that part of selection process, is it? It's not government selection process. It's schools have that selection process.
Yes. So these policies, it will vary from school to school, right? But more or less it is similar.
When I'm enrolling my daughter in a school, how important is the infrastructure of the school?
See, it is important because ambience has to be good. Your child is going to spend 7 hours over there. So you must have to look for the fresh environment, whether there is some maybe coolers or ACs to keep them. It should be well ventilated, plus some ACs and coolers to make sure that they are able to cope up during the summertime. Right. Also, whether the washrooms are clean or not, hygiene is being maintained or not, all that is important. So schools are usually open to it. Parents do want, sometimes the parents do, very few, but they do ask for a visit to the restrooms. So they are allowed. So infrastructure check is definitely required. Infirmary is also an important area, because if my child is sick, what are you going to do? Do you ask for medical history record? Do you maintain such records? What is your procedure if my child is feeling sick? So all these things parents should ask.
So when you're talking about medical law, I think most of the schools have the infirmary or a nurse bed.
Yes.
Do I have to ask, is the school tied up with a hospital?
Yes, you can ask. You should ask rather, because most of the schools are tied up. Like even Candiidus, we are tied up with Continental Hospital. So most of the schools are tied up with some hospitals, so that if there is an emergency. See, first, things which are very minor, they are taken care of by the school nurse and stay in the infirmary. After some time, once they feel better, students go back to the class. If it is little, but we do inform the parents in any case. Even if it's a minor thing, we do inform the parents. If it is something for which the parents need to come and check on the child and decide whether they want to take them home, so they are informed, parents come and take them. If there is an emergency, if the child has fallen off and if we know probably there is some fracture or something, then we do inform the parents and we tell them, please come to the Continental Hospital. And meanwhile, the school transportation, the school car, some schools have ambulances, some have car. So the school nurse will be taking the child to that particular hospital, and then the parents are there.
That's really nice. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.